Hey, peace to the family. How are you tonight? Um, I'm excited. I am, believe it or not, after all these years on YouTube, I am finally, I think, 20 hours short of being monetized. Now, hey, um, it is difficult for some to get monetized. It's easy for others. If you have pseudo information or entertainment, it's easy to get monetized. But when you're talking about real information, it's difficult. Tonight, I want to take a break from teaching about Africa and particularly the Nile Valley, including Nubia, and talk about incident that happened today. So the background of what happened today was I was on my way to the mall and I noticed a car um, being towed, but the wheels was turning. So then I stopped to see what happened, and there was a woman in the car, and she was sitting in her car, and the tow truck was trying to take her car, but the wheel was spinning. So most people have a choice to look at it and say, "Oh wow," or and then walk away. I pulled out my camera at some point, and I've been started taping the incident. And what had happened. That's the way sometimes we talk. Was the uh, woman stopped at a restaurant, and um, when she someone told her that they was going to tow her car. So she said that she wasn't in a restaurant but only about 2 minutes, and a tow truck who sits there and waits came, and they at this point her car was not latched. So she ran into the vehicle, opened up the door, and tried to back away. So she was in reverse when this was happening. Okay, so the tow truck backed up, latched part of her car while she was in the vehicle, and proceeded to um, bring the car up. Okay, so now she's in the vehicle, her wheels are spinning, her car is partially latched, and so one wheel is on, one wheel is off. So um, I go to the tow truck driver and I ask, can you give her a drop fee, right? And basically, that wasn't really successful. I don't want to go into why. Hey, Hitch, how you doing? Peace to you. How are you doing? Thanks for joining my channel tonight. This is a break from me teaching, but just telling you what happens in my neighborhood and what I feel about it and what I do. A lot of these YouTubers who talk about Black Power and our people and um, humanity and all this other stuff, you don't see them in their day to day life. I'm the way you see me here is what I look like in my day to day life, walking these streets. And uh, in this particular show, I'm talking about uh, this information that we teach. Uh, why does it matter? And oh, what should you do as a person, a man, a human, a woman, whatever the case. Now, I live in a majority black and brown neighborhood, and I find that most people go about their daily business not caring about their fellow person. And uh, so um, I'm not one of those people. I mix what I learn into my daily activity. So you hear a lot of Kemetic people and Hebrew people and um, you know uh, Moors and Muslims and other groups of people talk about moral, ethical values and protecting. And I find that most of that is just YouTube stuff, because our communities would be much better if those people who have large groups of people underneath them, Christians and and other shackle breakers. What's going on, my good brother shackle breakers? Um, I find that most of this stuff is just talk to get you either interested in them, right? Interested in them and what they're doing, but it often goes on deaf ears because you don't actually see them in real life. So what happened was the woman saw this tow truck got a person trying to tow her car. She ran out of the restaurant. She jumped in her driver's seat. She tried to reverse. The tow truck driver then reversed, latched one wheel of her car, right? One wheel of her car, and then hoisted it up, and she's in the car tilted, and the wheel is spinning, right? And she's in a truck. She's in a truck, a BMW truck. So basically, the automobile could have tilted, right? And so I talk to the tow truck driver and ask her, could he drop the vehicle? He told me no. Um, and prior to that, um, yeah, he said no. So I said, okay, I go to the driver of the vehicle, and that's when she told me what the story was. Now, this story is about, okay, the tow truck driver is doing his job, right, in his mind, except for he is praying and waiting for people to violate, give them no discretion, and then take away their cars. Okay, that's his job. Okay, as he thinks. Then what happened is the mall security showed up, right? And you would think that they would intercede on behalf of the, um, or find the best possible outcome. No, they side with the tow truck driver, right? And then ultimately, for about 10 minutes, she's sitting in her vehicle and the police arrive. So you have weak men, right? Now you have the police. Now the police now, um, they don't care that she's latched. They don't really care that her wheel is spinning and it's a dangerous situation, right? What they talk to the tow truck driver. The tow truck driver says, "Well, this is my job." Police officers say, "Well, um, you got latched." She says she tries to give them a story, and the police officers are not taking her story. Okay, uh, so then I have this complete story. I have this observation, and ultimately, I intercede, right, in this particular matter to find a positive outcome for the woman that was getting told, right? So I'm gonna just go through the video footage of the portions that I took. I thought my camera was on at all times for my safety, but it was not. So basically, we're just going to walk through the video. So this is a reaction video, okay? And I want to ask, I know that there are men first, then there are black men, right? Who say that they're concerned, who watch these shows, all of these shows, and they say that they're concerned about their community. But I'm gonna show weak black men, right? Weak, having the capacity to do something in a positive outcome for a woman, one, two, a black woman, right? That means any woman, right? And I want to show you weak men, right? So this is what this show is about, right? Okay, and then I intercede because I know something about civics, right? And and I practice what I teach, right, in the context of um, ethics and morality and civics, right, and using my history to understand uh, why we must intercede. Okay, so here's the video. and I'm gonna skip through it so I don't keep you that long.
In the car, you look at she driving. You back trees,
First black man, right? And he's in his four-wheel vehicle, right? He's in the back interceding, right? Trying to figure out what he should say, right? And this is what I say to Mr. Uh, four-wheel driver right here on his speedboat.
Sir, why? So they control her car?
Okay, there's another black man. He's a looky you. He's just walking by. He sees it. He sees me with the camera. He doesn't intercede.
So they can stole a car? You backseat driving.
So he's in his four-wheel vehicle, talking about the situation in a negative when the camera started, and I had to move him along. So that's two black.
No, he said he's not doing it. No, but they're gonna talk when they come in. They always have to talk.
Let me tell you something, brother. For future, brother.
So three. So now there is two more weak black men.
Your window. You wasn't on business when you winded down the window.
Okay, so the tow truck driver, he gets out of his vehicle because a strong person was videotaping the situation like me, but videotaped him while he was in his vehicle. He didn't like that, so the tow truck driver gets out, tells him that he can't tape him without his permission. That's absolutely false, right? He's taping the situation just like me, right? So, but at this point, the driver is outside of his vehicle talking to a bystander who's trying to film the situation. Okay, now.
They recording me too. Record you.
I got the right. You want to wind your window down? That's on you. You ain't got here. Here, bully. Here, bully. Here, bully.
You see how he's behaving, and they want to act. I don't care.
Nah, that's
So if you look at her front wheel, it's spinning, right? It's not latched to the tow truck, right? So what happened was she didn't cross the tow truck bar. The tow truck bar wasn't up yet. What she did was she ran to a vehicle, got in, and tried to reverse, right, to get out of the situation. The tow truck driver then put his car in reverse, caught her, and was able to latch one wheel.
Yeah, but when you came over to use, you didn't let them. You don't let nobody do nothing.
My problem
wasn't even over here when that happened.
you made it seem like we pick and choose on who we tell the tow truck people to drive. That's not our job. They work.
Okay, so I had earlier talked to these two officers, and I told them about the mall's policy of having no discretion and just towing black and brown people in hiding. And I told them that, and well, I was first talking to the tow truck driver, and then they interceded to have a conversation with me, right? So now I'm on the side with them, and I'm telling them about the policy of the mall.
Let me explain. We work with them. They work with us. They come, they see a car on the far lane. That's not our problem. That's nothing we can't do.
Yeah, we don't.
They tow the car. We just assist them. We don't tell them who to pick on.
Okay.
That's on them, my brother.
Check this out.
Okay, now it's my brother. Okay, I got it. Okay, but the problem is the tow trucks are laying in wait for people to run into stores and stuff. And sometimes they have their children, sometimes they have to give money, sometimes. So there should be some discretion, my brother, right? But he says that that's not his job. He's there to assist them. Okay.
My brother. What you did was you fell for it, right? I was talking to him, right? I was talking to him. Then y'all started talking to me, right? So you fell for it because I was talking to him. And then when you talk to me, I was just trying to tell you what's going on. They do it in Co-op City too. They have what you call a non-contract, right? The non-contract is basically we're not going to charge you, but you could tow the cars. So they say bet. So what they do now, they use aggressive tactics to tow the cars. So in this particular case, I've seen it. This is the third time I've seen it. Person stops right here, right? Runs into the store. Now you have delivery people picking up, right? You have lots of types of people picking up, and they're just stop here for DoorDash, Uber, and then Instacart and passengers, right? And they drop their car for 5 minutes. But in this particular case, according to her, right, is that when she ran out, the lift wasn't even on the car.
That's the part we don't know because they right over here.
Right.
That's why we.
Okay, so this is what they say, right? Okay, but the common sense would say that she was able to get in her car. So either she ran in between her car and the tow truck car before the latch was on. So then she puts her car in reverse. She tries to get away, right? Get out of the situation, and the tow truck driver backs up, latches her car, catches her, right? So these two dudes, they don't know what the situation is, but they're taking his side or they're taking their side.
Came over here asking that question. Yeah, we got camera. I got it. When we got over, we don't know what's going on. That's our job. We gotta come see what's going on.
Okay.
We didn't know what's going on.
I got you, but what I'm just saying, I ain't got no beef with y'all. We don't even know each other. I'm talking to him. You see how? So when I break it down to him, he tell me mind my business, keep pushing. You heard all that, right? So that's what I was getting at. Cause see, I know what's going on.
So they heard the communication with me and the tow truck driver. I got him to admit that. He decided that he doesn't want to. He decides to conveniently forget that, but he admits that now, right? So when the dude told me to keep pushing, okay, fine. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna try to deal with the situation with the woman, right?
Right? But the fact of the matter,
So the tow truck driver calls him. Why? Right? Why call them? Like to get his side of the story, right? He's got the car latched.
not your boss. I don't know why y'all going over there. Right? So my whole.
But that's why karma works. Because if you go out there now and die and crash, it's karma because they're fucking.
Now the unfortunate thing is, okay, she knows her vehicle obviously because she drives, but she does not know, or she's not thinking about that one wheel is spinning and the other wheel is not spinning, and she doesn't know how to stop the wheel from spinning. She doesn't know that because she's never been in that situation.
Yeah.
Right.
But,
So
like I said, I have no problem explaining to you because we didn't do anything wrong.
no, I say that. I'm just saying.
but
I'm just saying.
you
Trying to
came
talk
up
to.
to
No. I was talking to them,
Right.
and then y'all got involved in. Y'all got involved in it, right? You started talking to me.
We just defended ourselves. You said we only defend ourselves because the fact that you said you made it seem like we told him and we pick and choose.
So let's.
Yes, because it's true. Because you're not helping safety, right? You are assisting the tow truck driver. Yes, I am, right?
Do this, right? Let's do that. I apologize to y'all.
Okay, so Reggie takes the passive aggression mode. I try to apologize to them, right? Okay, if I said something that which I didn't say disrespectful to you, what I did is okay, let's get on a good foot. Let's start. So I'm going to apologize.
Now be mindful about what's going on, right? Be mindful that he was probably sitting right there sneaking.
Are they mindful? The woman's sitting in the car is tilted, right? We're in front of the car, so if the car does something crazy, it's probably going to spill on all of us. And And so, are they being mindful? No, they're paying attention to me.
know her. Watch the Vic. She's a victim. Go in here for 5 minutes. Come down. 2
As
minutes.
I walk
So she's overhearing me. So she's correcting. She said just 2 minutes.
in, she said to me, they're going to tow your car.
And so,
Not even 2 minutes. Not even.
Okay, another weak man. He's gonna walk by. What's the purpose of walking by? Right? Walking by, seeing what the situation is, right? And
Crazy. So what's gonna happen when the cops get here? They're gonna ask for the footage. We're gonna show them the footage, and they're gonna determine how everything goes from there. That's out of our hands.
so this is how can I say? I don't want to say it's the mob, but I want to say it's old time business, right? So they
my brother OG's video is here. So the people that are coming in, they do good work. Watch OG videos, right? They're very informative. Shackle Breakers, brother Sabio, y'all all know Sabio. Watch his videos. Brother Hits, my man Hits. Watch their videos, right? Click on their pages, like and subscribe. Okay, so OG, I'm out in the Bronx, man. Not your parts, but my parts. Co-op City. This, we believe in practicing what we preach in, turning over a new leaf, right? In this particular case, a tow truck from Zariga Avenue, right? Basically tried to snatch this woman's car. She tried to reverse. The tow truck driver reversed, snatched part of her car, hoisted it up in the air. Now she's sitting in the car's tilted, she was still in reverse, and her one wheel is spinning. She doesn't know that probably she's going to have some transmission problems because of one wheel spinning and another one not. But in this situation, I'm intervening to try to see if I can find a positive situation for the woman.
They do this in Co-op City and they do this here. They just wait for you, bang, and then they snatch your vehicle, right? And in this particular case, she's not going for it, right? And now since she's complaining, she's even in more jeopardy because she has to go there, and by the time that she goes there, her car might be injured. And look at the price of this car. So the fact of the matter is, then they impose a drop charge because if they take it there, it's $350, but the drop charge is $197, and she's right there on the scene.
That's ridiculous.
Right? She's right there on the scene.
You just called over here. We came over here.
No, I got you, and she's right. She's not letting them take.
Like I said, well, you're not from the Bronx, but like I said, OG videos. This is my neck of the woods, but it happened in malls where you at, and now you in. Where you at? You in Georgia now. Wow. All right.
Her car willfully because she says that she wasn't in there less than 2 minutes.
But we're just trying to de-escalate the situation.
They're trying to de-escalate the situation. Her car's tilted. Her front wheel is in reverse, spinning, and they're trying to de-escalate the situation. Let's go on.
Oh, well, working with him, he was trying to put the okey doke. He trying to put the okey doke, right, and make y'all feel like he's doing his job and you're doing the job. But the fact of the matter is,
I said, why did you put the car on whiskey? He's gonna come and shut the fuck up, bitch. Don't be like that.
So she's saying that when she went to talk to him about when she got back out of her car, she says, and why not believe her, that he said what he said. Now, these two guys, they witnessed the driver talk to me sideways, right? But I'm trying to find a positive outcome for the sister, right? So I just walk away, okay? I'm not going to make the situation about me. I'm going to make the situation about the sister.
You don't have to cry. You don't have to do anything. Just wait for the police.
So she's in her car. She's crying. And look at these brothers.
Just wait for the police.
That's crazy.
right? So this is what's going down. This is our people. Most of the majority of the people that shop here, right, are people that look like us. Okay, but the owners, their thing is to try to control it. Normally they would have.
So they want our money, right? But they have no discretion on the people that spend money in this mall, right? None. Now, look, if your car's sitting there without a driver for 5, 10 minutes or so like that, okay, that's fair, right? Okay, that's fair. But still, if the person runs out of the car, runs out of the store, then I think there should be discretion. But what they do is they go hire a company that wants to make money on the tolls. So these guys are not going to give them any discretion.
You come behind and beat the car and move, right? Okay, so now they got more aggressive and then they hired somebody who walked in and take care of the problem.
A tow operator should not tow your people with you in it. And I came in my car.
So she goes and she does what any woman should do. She looks for her rights, and she finds that a tow truck company can't tow the car when she's in the car, right? Can't tow the car. Okay, so this is the stalemate,
right?
Don't worry.
And so you see how he talked to me. So when it comes to de-escalating, right? So look, I'm not no coward, but I ain't no tough guy neither. But he not gonna talk to me like that, and in front of y'all. Anybody that goes against him, right? He gonna tell me like this not jail, yo. This not Rikers Island. This not upstate, right? This is a community. This is a community of people, black, brown, and other people, but majority black, brown.
No, they would not do this in the Italian neighborhoods. They would not do this in the Irish neighborhoods, right? And certainly not in some Dominican neighborhoods, and definitely not in some of the Mexican neighborhoods. But we are weak people. We're weak, right? So they're going to do it to us. But this whole mall makes money off of people that look like us and citizens of New York, right? So they give us no discretion. They want our money, but no discretion. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
But she said he went until I was in the car. She started to lift my car.
Right, because he want his commission from his job.
And I literally went.
I'm gonna speed it up.
You can take pictures of the truck, their license plate, whatever.
Legal right.
Everything will be
okay. So cool. So
all the while, her wheel is spinning, the car's tilted, right? She's on a latch, right? And my brother's over here. There are things that they can do. They can assist her in at least stopping the wheel from spinning, right? Or they could see if they can reconcile the situation, right? The Zariga Indoor Sports Complex. Okay, that's my old neighborhood, Castle Hill, right? That's where I'm from, right? So Zariga runs through my old neighborhood, but this is where his tow truck company is, and it's how can I say? That's just how they do business. They do aggressive business.
We can all relax until the police get here.
Absolutely. Whatever. But I came in my car and you're gonna leave the car and put me in it and don't want to put my car down.
So that's dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And look at the way the car.
Oh, it's dangerous, but what is the reaction from our people in uniform, right? Okay, so let me. So I think the police is getting ready to come. Police getting ready to come. Let's see.
No, here she's on.
Okay, so she's latched. You see right there. So basically, she's backing up. You can see her wheel in the turn position and back up. He sped up, caught her on one wheel, didn't catch her on the other wheel. How dangerous is that? Right? But anyway, he caught one wheel, so then he immediately hoisted her up. Right? That's how we get down. Okay.
On here, right? I'm saying the other side. So she's on here, right?
Wheel spinning in reverse, and she's not latched on this side. So you can see right here, here's the latch right here. So this part of the latch didn't make it while he was trying to trap her, right? Okay. Now anybody can see what I'm saying. I'm not making this up. Anybody can see what pretty much happened. She tried to back up. She wasn't latched yet. She made it just in time. Ran to a vehicle, backed up, tried to get out of it. No, he didn't want that, right? So he trapped her, right, and brought the vehicle up. Okay, so here comes the officers, right? Okay. Okay, so he's asking her, right? Does she got her feet on the gas? Like, obviously she doesn't have her feet on the gas, right? And if she did, watch, if this was a 4-wheel drive, this probably would have not happened. So he go, Mr. Officer. This is the people that we pay, right? Mr. Officer is gonna ask her a stupid question. Does she got her foot on the gas?
Yeah, what's up? Can you put your window
everybody said he was over there, he was watching my video. When I walked in the shop, she's like, oh, they're going to see my car was wrong. He was in front of me. When I came in the car, he started to
was the car hooked up before you decided to slide on?
Yeah. It wouldn't be illegal if it had hooked up. Reversing. Like, it was flat on the ground.
Sir, it's not.
So all he's doing is talking her down. He's trying to find excuses. He's trying to find excuses against what she's saying, right? So he's hardly even listening to her, right? But he was the one who asked her, does she got her foot on the gas, right? Now he's trying to justify the latch.
Attached properly. But look, you can observe, it's not attached properly.
Car tilted, wheels spinning, right?
Nah, that's not the problem.
No,
problem.
Sir, sir, it's not attached properly. When she came out, she got in her vehicle. It wasn't attached. She got her vehicle, and then he tried to quickly pull it up.
Question: you saw everything?
No. But it's on the film.
You saw the film?
No. You want me to act my
Yeah, because
they
saw. He has to fix it.
Right. He has to fix it. But when she came back in the car, this latch wasn't on. Then he backed up.
She should have never got in the car while the vehicle was getting towed.
Okay, so the vehicle, he's telling me she should have never gotten the vehicle while the vehicle's being towed, but the latch was not on. So she ran through in between the two cars, right? And then she got in her car to try to get away. So now, technically, she was not latched, right? And there could have been lots of reasons why, but she said that she was in there for less than 2 minutes. Yes, it was her mistake, right? Okay, but is this how we live in New York City? All right, so he's trying to talk me down.
No, before the vehicle was being towed, she got into the vehicle.
It was hooked already.
No, it was
not hooked up. You see, now he doesn't want to use his brains. It was not hooked up. Why is the wheel spinning? But he doesn't want to use his brain, right? So this is how it goes down. So this is how these officers talk down to us, right? Like, we're not stupid.
Not.
In the car when you hook it up.
See?
She just pulled up the camera right there.
Huh?
She wasn't inside a
She
vehicle.
wasn't in the vehicle. No.
She wasn't inside the vehicle when the car backed up to her, but she was able to get in the vehicle before he put down the latch. Okay, so my officers, New York City's finest, right?
So my dispatch, he just pulled the camera up from right there.
Okay, so Mr. Other Week black man, okay, he's like, he's not even letting the officers see. The officers never see the film, right? So he's doing the talking for the officers, right? Okay, the officers never go and see the film.
She wasn't in the vehicle when it was hooked up.
Yeah.
Can you verify? Can you go?
I asked them to verify that, right? Do they verify that? No, they're going to talk
Are you to
about it.
her?
I'm a citizen. I'm a citizen.
Okay, look at him try to think. Yes, I'm a citizen of New York City, of the United States of America. I live in this community. So he's trying to think what he's going to say.
Listen, and I see a dangerous situation where
I saw a dangerous situation, officer.
the car is being
They
hacked.
called us here so we can handle the dangerous situation.
Right.
Are you handling a dangerous situation, officers? No, you're not. You're not handling a dangerous situation.
Yeah.
Right. But we're citizens and we have a right to oversee what's happening in our community.
Yes, we pay your bills, right? Our tax dollars pay your salaries.
We do. And I'm not bothering you. I step back.
Did I
I'm
say
not
you're
bothering.
bothering?
No, I'm just checking.
Just asking questions, but you say you didn't witness anything.
Right. But
Okay, so I didn't witness anything, but I'm witnessing now.
I just see.
So she wasn't
Yeah,
in
she
there.
wasn't.
They got
You're not in trouble.
You're not in trouble.
No, you're not in trouble. You just got to pay the $300 fine for towing the vehicle. You're not in trouble, but you got to pay the fine. What do y'all say out there? Right? Am I overreacting? Right? Do you see you see how this authority and this mail bonding BS is operating? Right? Do you see any strength here?
They refused. They have to go back to their line.
Okay, so now watch this. So now I negotiate, right? I try to
He's already
negotiate.
put in the machine now. It's technically he's already with you.
Sometimes they give you the option to pay on scheme, but they refuse. You have to go back to their line and pay the fee.
They have a drop charge. Can you?
Okay, so now I step in again, and I know that they have a drop charge. So I asked them to try to negotiate for her for a drop charge, and he says that he refuses to do it.
Paid $197 drop charge.
I think it's cheaper than that. It should be like 1,000.
He said he gave it out. He's not willing to do it.
Okay, so she says correctly that he never gave her an option. He called her a name, right? So now he's going to go. Finally, he's going to go and see if he can negotiate.
It's in reverse.
Right. That's what he does?
It should be about 130.
130.
I'm pretty sure. I know no more than 140.
Okay, so now it moves to, okay, now we're negotiating a drop charge.
Is she still there?
Huh?
She okay?
She's
Still there?
Yeah, she's.
You need me to call somebody for you?
No, the police is here.
No, I know. I mean somebody from her family to be with her.
Well, I think she can call because once she loses her car, she's going to need assistance. So now he's not willing. It doesn't seem like he's willing,
But he
right?
took it with her. But he took it with her already in the car.
But they say that once the machine is down.
So now the officer, he's you see his ears, right? So he's listening. So he knows that he has a witness there, right? But does he talk to the witness? No, he don't talk to the
Now,
witness.
right? Then they can automatically take the car.
Even though she's in it?
Yes.
Even though she's in it?
She wasn't in it, perhaps.
When it,
My dispatcher ran the camera back.
dispatcher? What did he say?
Run the camera back. The camera right here.
And what's the camera say?
So now we have a hero. We have another black woman on the scene against weak men.
The car and the car in the car and get in the car. I don't know. That's why we came over here and asked questions like I was telling you. We came over here and asked questions. You didn't know what was going on.
You can't do it.
All right, so now they come back, and part of the video is missing. Unfortunately, that she knows what the fee is for the drop fee, but she doesn't know now how to stop the wheel from spinning. Okay, so let's. Okay, what's happening here?
Why can't he drop it at this point?
Okay, I have some technical problems. Let's see what's going on.
So, Miss, you're gonna have to pay the $130.
136.
Okay. Wow. I have some technical problems.
Man, we're here. He's not taking your picture. You're ready. Everything is being recorded.
Jacob, did you put those things in that?
Okay. So she ultimately she goes to the bank, she gets the cash, she comes back.
If you pay by cash, he won't have your identity.
So I tell her if she pays by cash, she won't have an identity.
Identification. If you pay by card.
Okay. Sorry about this.
He didn't give her that option. He was just gonna snatch her car.
I mean, he's just doing his job at the end of the day. You know, this is not.
He's just doing his job at the end of the day, officer. Okay, so let's. I had some technical problems, so let's see if I can speed it up until.
It's their law. It's not New York City's law.
You gotta respect the privacy of the law, correct?
Say what?
You gotta respect the.
So he's saying I gotta respect the law, right? There's nothing about law that's going on here. So what do I? Let's see if I can get this part.
Not legal. No.
It's actually.
It's their law. It's not New York City's
You
law.
gotta respect the privacy of the law, correct?
Okay. So he's
Say
trying,
what?
You gotta respect the policies of the mall, right?
The policies of the what?
Of the mall.
Okay. All right. So I gotta respect the policy.
Shopping center.
Oh, of the mall. Yes, and that's why they're here.
Yeah, but they cannot tow a vehicle, sir. So
Right.
who is gonna do it? The company that the mall pays, right?
Okay.
Which is
I'm sorry.
that.
That's exactly
Did you
right.
know that the lady had put the car in reverse while it was hooked up?
Of course, you didn't witness that, officer. You didn't witness that. You didn't witness that. So how could you tell me that she put it in reverse while she's being hooked up? No, she was trying to evade being hooked up.
I know that he was going to take the car because I've seen this happen.
Okay, so let me just get to a point where this plays.
Hi. Right? This
On the same page.
So he's telling me, I'm telling him that he's recording, that he sees me recording, and he tells me he's recording. And
I'm listening, but I'm telling you what I've seen with my own eyes, and that's why it caused me to pull out my camera, because I've seen this happen several times.
So he's going to tell me that he's being recorded.
Right here.
Of course. It's blink.
It's blinking. So you don't think I can see that? What does that mean? What does that mean?
Hello. Hi. Right? It's
On the same page right now.
right. But I wasn't trying to record.
Okay. So
Willing
let's go. So she is I'm gonna try 30 seconds of playing. Go.
Yeah, you gotta.
Okay, so finally, in that conversation before, I told her to put it in neutral, but put your foot on the brake, and then put it to park. So she was able to do that, right? And then her wheel stopped spinning, and so they can drop the vehicle. And again, you can see only one wheel is latched, right? So they were trying to stop. And I think there's more, but I think that's okay. So now, so she goes away. She speeds. She gets in her car. Can't see that. Okay. So she's in her car. She paid her money. She paid her $30. She zooms off, and then the last seconds are the powwow. So the powwow is so more officers arrive after she arrived, and they all giving themselves pounds and stuff like that. And this is the story of weak people, right? All against a woman to try to snatch her money, right? And so that's that. All right, so don't. Okay, so that ends that. I want to talk about another story while we're here. So let's close this down if I can. And there's another story that I think earlier today, an officer shoots a black woman 6 times in Detroit, and then they take her to the hospital. She survives. She got shot at 6 times. She was able to leave the hospital on her own, right? But they tried to arrest her and send her to detention. So now in this particular clip, is this not working either?
Briefing.
Okay, so now this officer right here, right? So now in the beginning, he talks. Let's go to where he's talking. Okay, so here's now. Okay, so let's go here.
Officers.
I'm happy to report that but my message to the public, when you're driving a vehicle and you're pulled over, you have to comply. You have to, by state law, you have to provide your driver's license. You don't have the opportunity to say, I'm not going to provide my driver's license on a traffic stop. Some folks just don't know that.
Okay.
And the drive.
Okay, well, watch this. Okay, so some people don't know that. Well, I guess, Mr. Officer, you found out, right? Okay. How can I say you don't? Um, when he means a traffic stop, that means she was pulled over. So then it's like, why am I pulled over? This, that, the third. And officers are aggressive. They try things like have you get out your car so they can search your vehicle, right? Um, uh, they can't ask for your driver's license and your registration, right? But if you haven't done anything legally wrong, you have a right to ask them, "What have I done legally wrong?" And the question with this case is, it's not clear what she did legally wrong, except for the officer stopped her. So here goes Mr. Detroit police officer now. Okay, so let's listen to him.
Rango up Van Dyke for approximately 1 minute until they boxed in her vehicle a short distance down the road at Concord.
You can go back.
Successful in their attempt, but out of the vehicle
Okay.
numerous times.
Here goes.
The officer
No.
investigation,
Okay.
I would give you all an update. I will not be releasing the body-worn camera footage today because I do not want to jump in front of the Wayne County prosecutor, which is standard in an officer-involved shooting. We will be submitting a warrant request, as we always do in all of our officer-involved shootings, and the investigation will be led by the Michigan State Police Department. But I do want to update you and walk you through what transpired to you an update. After reviewing the body-worn footage, I can tell you that yesterday afternoon, our officer was out on routine patrol in the area of Van Dyke and 8 Mile. He observed what he deemed
Hunting. He was out on patrol, slave patrol, right? Now the white officer, right? In this case, I'll say officer, but it happens to be that he's white. Okay, let's see what he says now.
be a traffic violation and conducted a traffic stop.
He did not say what the violation was. He just took the officer's word for it. Standard slave catching procedure.
Driver of the vehicle, which was driving a black Dodge Durango, complied with the officer and pulled over her vehicle immediately.
Okay, so now she complied. Whoop, whoop, whoop. She complies, pulls over her vehicle immediately.
At this point, the officer exited the patrol vehicle and approached the driver's side of the Dodge Durango. The officer identified himself and gave the reason for the traffic stop. The driver strongly disagreed with the officer as to the reason. The officer asked the driver for her license, registration, proof of
Her slave papers.
insurance of the vehicle. The driver requested for the officer supervisor.
That's standard, right? She wanted to speak to his supervisor, right? He didn't want to have none of that.
Numerous times, including at one point, the driver called 911 while the officer was standing at the vehicle. The officer requested backup to the scene for support.
Oh, because you have a Negress not complying. So I need backup. Let's go.
Once backup arrived, the officer opened the driver's door in an attempt to get the driver of the vehicle.
She would not comply. The runaway slave, who was complying with the law, asked for the supervisor. That wasn't enough. He opened the door and tried to pull her out.
The officers were unsuccessful in their attempt to pull the woman out of the vehicle.
They tried to pull her out of the vehicle. They forcibly entered her car, right? So she has 14th Amendment, right, protections, right? She has state protections. She has county protections, but those things are not given to us.
And she was separated by one of the backup officers.
They couldn't get her out of the car, so then backup comes, right? And backup pepper sprays her. So now you can see that she's disabled now. So she's been assaulted, right? She's been assaulted. She asked for a supervisor. They didn't wait for a supervisor.
She then closed her door and the driver drove off from the scene.
She was assaulted. She was criminally assaulted. So she drives away from the scene. Mistake, right? Because slave catchers, their job is to catch a slave.
The officers pursued the Durango Van Dyke for approximately 1 minute until they boxed in her vehicle a short distance down the road at Concord and out of drive.
An escaped slave, alert, alert, alert. escaped slave.
At this point, the officer which fired shots, we'll call him the shooting officer, jumped out of his vehicle that was parked in front of the Dodge Durango and began ordering the woman to exit the vehicle. The driver, as it is shown in the video, try to drive her vehicle out of the box. While the Durango was driving from the scene and past the officer, he ordered the woman 2 more times to get out of the vehicle before he fired multiple shots into the Durango. The shooting.
Okay, a traffic stop turns into an execution.
Officer then jumped back in his squad car and pursued the Durango with the backup units following behind. They pursued, ultimately ending at the Detroit Police Department facility.
She's running for her life, and where does she run? She runs to the police department while this officer, right, is trying to murder her.
The driver was shot a total of 6 times. Officers rendered first aid, medics were called, they transported the woman to a local hospital.
He's reading this, and now he's trying to be as careful as he can, right? But he's forgetting that he's wearing a uniform to protect the citizens. She was shot 6 times. She ran to the police department.
Was released from the hospital, subsequently taken to the Detroit Detention Center.
She survives an execution, right? Like, even with the electric chair and all these stuff, if you survive, they don't immediately try to, how can I say, yeah, you're still detained, right? But she survived this, and so now she's a witness. So now what they do is they try to get her back in custody.
This morning, I ordered her released from the Detroit Detention Center.
Not, sir, because you wanted to, sir, but you see problems that may affect your job, your house, right? Because you forgot who you were.
Immediately, I want to talk about the policy violations.
Okay, so now there's policy violations. Let's hear what the policy violations are, right? Because in the beginning, when you was talking, you wasn't talking that, right? But after you reviewed the footage and you realized that you're supposed to be in charge, you are supposed to be in charge. You're supposed to protect, right? This could be somebody that you know, could be a family member, right? Now you want to talk about the policy, Judge.
This has policy violations in multiple areas. I find them concerning.
Oh, you find them concerning now because eventually, right, the tape will be released and it will show a potential execution, like Sandra Bland, like many of, like what happened, right? Oh, if you want to, if you like what I'm doing, I'm putting my Cash App, right? Buy me lunch tomorrow, right? Because I'm showing you one incident that I intervened in that resulted in a woman at least getting her car to drive away after having paid a fine that she shouldn't have paid a fine, right? And I intervened because I decided to stand up. In this particular case, she had to stand up for herself. So now you're finding the issues concerning.
The Detroit Police Department, first of all, should not pursue, and we have a policy against vehicle pursuits for traffic. Our policy states that we will pursue individuals that have committed violent felonies only, violent crimes. DPD also has a policy.
Okay, let's stop here. That doesn't apply. She's a black woman, right? That doesn't apply, right? So she's black. So that's already deemed a violent crime. A black woman insisting on a supervisor, right? Then getting pepper sprayed, right? And she's pursuing, she's a runaway slave. Okay, let's go.
Against the person where you box in a vehicle.
Okay, so these officers now are super cops against a woman, right, who they assaulted.
One vehicle and one vehicle behind in an attempt to stop it from moving. I repeat, DPD does not, we do not shoot at moving vehicles unless it is an extreme circumstance where life is at jeopardy. As an
we got one officer nodding in agreement, but we don't have the other officer who has 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's and the one that's speaking has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the assistant officer in the back. He's has no emotions.
Officer, we are trained to de-escalate situations.
De-escalate. So opening up the door, pepper spraying her after you opened up her door illegally, right? And then boxing her in. Okay, keep talking.
Failing to request a supervisor when one is requested.
She in fact did that.
Falls in line with the citizen complaint. She requested a supervisor multiple times.
Hey, peace, my brother Christopher Wizards. I am not doing a meta lecture tonight. What I'm doing is talking about 2 incidents where black women were in jeopardy. One I intervened in an earlier conversation, and this one, a black woman in Detroit was shot 6 times after she asked for a supervisor, and then they opened up a door and pepper sprayed her. And then she attempted to leave the assault. Ultimately, she was boxed in. She tried to escape the box, and then she was shot 6 times. The officer that's talking right now, when he first was talking, he was seemingly on the side of the police department. Now he's talking and he's looking at the policy violations. But Christopher, if you can, I was looking for there was a smash video where they was talking about the red ones, and I tried to find it and I could not find it. If you have so if you have an attestation of of the ancient Egyptians talking about the red ones, I know the contingents of Horus and Set, and where there's red pigs and boars. I do know that one, but if there and then I know some of them that deal in the afterlife. But if you have one where there is a human involved, I would like to if you have the attestations, if you can put it in the chat, I would appreciate that. I'm not saying that the ancient Egyptians called symbolic. I'm saying that they called possibly humans symbolically red ones, being Dejaru or out of Ma'at, right? But not skin color. I don't have any evidence of that. But I'm interested in a human being called a Dejaru, a Dejarit, or a Dejaritwi or something like that. I'm interested in that. I'm not trying to make an argument on skin color, but I'm making an argument about just the use of red. So if you have something like that, please let me know. I appreciate it. So ultimately in this show,
times.
sorry for the break. Well,
I want
I'm sorry for the break, but the great Christopher Wizards is watching my video, and he is one of the best that we have on that comes on YouTube that helps us with the language of the ancient Egyptians. He's absolutely one of the best. Uh, the other ones, of course, Smash Rockwell and Saw and Ka and myself, but even the great Reggie needs help from someone greater. So, uh, so and there's Jedam Ankh Hekare, who uh, um, often doesn't come on, maybe in the back chats, but he refuses to argue with people who don't know the Medu Neter. Oh, Christopher Wizards. Oh, the other thing is, Inky actually tried to show. Let me see if I can pull it up. Watch this. Christopher Wizards, tell me if you're still here, right? So, sorry, family, I got a break because I got the great Christopher Wizards here. So let me just check to see if he's still here. So if you're still here, let me know. I want to break and I want to show you what Inky tried to do. So let me know that you're still here so I can bring it up. Okay, so let me just play this until he gets back to me. Um, yeah. Okay, so Christopher Wizard, stay right there. So I'm gonna pull up. With let me just see. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna pull up what Inky said. So let's go to YouTube. I think it's on YouTube. Stay right here. Oh man, I want to do a whole stay right here. I'm gonna show you what Inky tried to do. Don't okay, so Sinetta Studios. I think it's on Sinetta Studios. Right. If you're here, this is gonna be hilarious. Um, and let's see shorts. So let's click here. Right. Okay. So let's go to shorts. Okay, here it goes right here. Can you hear it? Say yes if you can hear it. Okay, so yeah, okay, great. Okay, so here it goes.
Sonnet of the OG with the crown on his chest. The BMCs put their mind to the test. Apostle preach like sometime never rest. At the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known that biology and Kemet without a microscope? How could they have known that? Well, because they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with the Kemetic cosplay. With the Kemetic cosplay, they don't want to let you know where microscopes came from. There is no such thing as modern science without a microscope. No such thing as modern science without a microscope. Here we see right here engraved in the wall where our Kemetic ancestors actually created and left the blueprint for microscopes and telescopes. What you see on the left of your screen is a modern diagram of what a microscope looks like. What you see in the middle section is an up-close version left in the wall. You see the eye at the top, matches the eye on the side. Then you see what looks like a bread hieroglyph is actually a convex lens. That's very important because that's the thing that magnifies the image. Then beneath that, you see.
So he sees the eye, then he sees the feminine T, the half loaf right here, right? And this is all of a sudden a microscope. Let's continue.
See semen coming out of the phallus of men, the god men. He's releasing semen. And then you see
So the god men is releasing semen, right? But he doesn't know that this is a bullhorn, a bull's horn, right? And he's not telling you the date of this, which is late Egyptian, right? And so this thing right here to him is a semen. Let's continue.
The sperm cell accurately depicted under the lens. Now, why that's important is because the sperm cell is the smallest cell in the human body, and there is no explanation on God's green earth how they could have got an accurate depiction of a sperm cell in Kemet without a microscope. But not only do they have the accurate depiction of the sperm cell, they actually have the accurate of the microscope blueprint. So you have the eye, you have the convex lens, then you have your specimen on top of the tray. And then when you see those three striped lines under the tray, those three striped lines mean multiplicity. So what it's showing you is that when you look at the semen under the convex lens, you see a multiplicity of these semen cells or sperm cells.
Okay, so he has the eye. Let's go back. Let's just do his pseudo judo. He has the eye. He has the microscope. He has the semen. He forgets about whatever this is. He sees the multiplicity. But okay, so let me pull up my PowerPoint. I'm sorry, family. What I was talking about was really important. Ultimately, the woman did survive. She was taken, while I'm waiting to pull this up, she was taken to the hospital after she got shot at 6 times. She was released. But they tried to detain her. They did detain her, and then the officer released her. So I wanted to show you those two newses. But while we have here, where is it? Where is my? I don't know if it should be in a Word file. So I think I did it in a Word file. Yeah. So here goes. Great. So this is Lady Egyptian, and Lady Egyptian introduces their new words, just like Middle Kingdom introduced their new words, and from the Old Kingdom. So we have what Inky doesn't know, which he should have asked, was what he was looking at. Was it a word? Right? Was it a word? So we do have the basis of the word with the ear and the abu, right? And it gives a word of cleaning or to clean, and this is in Middle Egyptian, but in Late Egyptian, um, I'm thinking that this was formerly the wab, right? The wab, right, which is to be pure. So, and there's this plural. So I'm guessing that this means the kind of the pure ones, right? And if we look at, okay, so yeah, purity or to be pure. Thank you, Christopher. Right? Right? To be pure. So he doesn't know what he's trying to do is what they did before decipherment is to try to look at things. And so he came up with the eye, the microscope lens, the sperms, because of the plural. So the sperms. So it's the eye looking through the microscope and seeing the sperms. And how could the ancient Egyptians come up with this without a microscope? And so then the issue is, okay, so we have this. Let's see if I can blow this up a little bit. This is Lady Egyptian, so it's not standard in which we read, but there seems to be RDN, right? And then there seems to be an ek. So it's like you give or given, right? There is definitely a aha, which is to stand, right? And I don't know if this is the new, right? To stand in this, or it could be to stand like Ra, right? Standing like Ra, And then this word right here usually used, I think, in Lady Egyptian is the Nosut Biddy, and then there is a kind of a uh, uh, two or raw, raw, like in, and then there's a pet, raw in the sky, and then there is this purify word, and this is part of in Middle Egyptian pati, but it has other definitions. So I'm not going to say it's pati, but then you have a new bowl, and then you have the nosut, uh, uh, or sorry, you have the south. You have the south, right? The place in the south. So could you add in the chat, or what else do you think? But basically, it's like, to me, standing like Ra, standing like Ra, and then there's the Nasut, like the Nasut in the sky. But okay, I have given up to a time of time rulership. There you go, right? I've given to a time of time, or time. I have given to a time of rulership, right? So, um, so, so in the short of it, we have a real live Medu Neter reader, right? And and then we definitely have a term of, I believe, of people being pure, right? And then the rest of this, the rest of this. So without reading the Medu Neter, right? Without knowing any of the Medu Neter, we are supposed to trust someone who can only come up with pictograms, right? Where this whole thing has nothing at all, right, to do with sex, evolution, right? Any of those type of things. But from that, he's going to exclude all of the writing here. He's going to exclude um, the king's name, who is the Sarah, uh, the Neb Kawu, right? Lord of Shines, right? The names, right? He's going to exclude the offerings over here, at least one offering, right? He's going to exclude all of this, and he's going to say, he's going to only zoom into the I, the T, the Irit, and this Abu, right? And he's going to say, that this is the sperm. Is this a great fail or not? Uh, any of the other meta nature did you see? So this is like all like Ra, me, Ra, Neb, all, right? Or his everything like Ra or something like that. Do you see anything else that you want to because what I'm trying to say to the audience is this has nothing to do with sex. Has nothing to do with a microscope. Has nothing to do with evolution. But he used this in a debate against Ankh to try to say, but he never thought that this is a word, right? As ruler time, I have given you as ruler time and time. I've given you time as a ruler time after time. And this is from someone who, okay, so time, this is uh you're saying that this is Sep, this right here is Sep. Um so this is going to be something that we're going to see on Smash Rockwell show. Smash is going to say, "Golly!" But this is a bigger fail family than the helicopters, right? This is a bigger fail, egg on the face, than looking at the helicopter, the relief that they say is the helicopter relief. and the space and the ships, right? So aha. So aha is, I thought was stand. I'm pretty sure that this is aha. But let me see what you got to say. Because Lady Egyptian is a little bit different than 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 Middle Egyptian, right? Okay, rulership time. Okay, so thank you. Okay, rulership time. And is this Sep? Ben Nosud, how you doing? We are looking at Inky's fail, where Inky is saying that this is this, well, up here is the eye, and this is the, this right here is the sperm over the Abu, which is the bullhorn, right? And he is saying that this is the, let me go over here. This is the eye looking at the microscope and finding the sperm, right? And okay, so not in this case. Okay, all right. So, but the so Ben Nosud, Inky put this up and said, look, how could our people knew the sperm without a microscope? And he's saying that here men is ejaculating, but he doesn't know that this is a bullhorn, right? And so I would love to see what our community does with this pseudo judo in some of the boards that we deal with, like Smash, and hopefully Christopher can come in and read the rest of the whole text for us. So, any other thoughts? I think I've done enough on the show. So yeah, and so just with that, he loses the whole debate. Just with that, he loses the whole debate. You know, like in court, when you have a case, but then you bring in something that is completely that will throw you into contempt, that will throw you into sanctions. That's this work right here. So the king giving men, and all of a sudden men is supposed to flash because he's giving him drinks, and he's going to ejaculate for no reason whatsoever, and ejaculate with sperm. Inky is going to bring this into a debate, right? And we give Inky some time. That's as crazy as when he was arguing with me that the was means the aorta, and the ancient Egyptians did open heart surgery, right? And then he wants to argue with me that I said that they didn't have the medical knowledge to do open heart surgery. Last time I checked, you have to sedate a person heavily. You have to use sterile instruments, which is not copper, right? You have to use suctions, right? You also need to put the person on various types of machines so that they can assist the breathing, right? Last time I checked, you have to use sterile gloves because once you close up the body, infection is going to take over. Yeah, Ben, so he said it was a microscope, that the feminine T was a microscope. Here goes, let me show you. This is what he said, right? Wait. See, it's funny when our community comes in. Okay.
Tornado the OG with the crown on his chest. Debate MCs, put their minds to the test. Apostle preach loud, sun time never rest. Songs got the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known that biology and chemistry without a microscope? How could they have known that?
Wait, he put myself in the chat. I didn't even see that.
Son of the OG with the crown on his chest. Debate MCs, put their minds to the test. Apostle preach loud, sun time never rest. Songs got the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known that?
Oh, so who's going after Brother Reggie? Look at this. How could they have known biology and chemistry? Microscopes, Reggie. Oh, shoot.
Biology and chemistry without a microscope. How could they have known that? Well, because they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with the comedic cosplay. With the comedic cosplay, they don't want to let you know where microscopes came from. And there is no such thing as modern science without a microscope. No such thing as modern science without a microscope. Here we see right here engraved in the wall where our Kemetic ancestors actually created and left the blueprint for microscopes and telescopes. What you see on the left of your screen is a modern diagram of what a microscope looks like. What you see in the middle section, a close version on what's left in the wall. You see the eye at the top, matches the eye on the side. You see what looks like a bread hieroglyph is actually a convex lens. That's very important because that's the thing that magnifies the image. Then that you see semen coming out of the phallus of men, the god men. He's releasing semen. And then you see a sperm cell accurately depicted under the convex lens. Now, why that's important is because the sperm cell is the smallest cell in the human body. And there is no explanation on God's green earth how they could have got an accurate depiction of a sperm cell in Kemet microscope. But not only do they have the accurate depiction of the sperm cell, they actually have the accurate depiction of the microscope blueprint. So you have the eye, you have the convex lens, then you have your specimen on tray. And then when you see those three striped lines under the tray, those three striped lines mean multiplicity. So what it's showing you is that when you look at semen under the convex lens, you see a multiplicity of semen cells or sperm cells.
Babylon Don, man, we argue all the time. But did you see that pseudo judo work right there? Right? And he got the nerve to say Reggie. Sheesh. I didn't even see that. Dad, let me get back to that. That's nasty work. Where okay, so Sarnetta, they singing Sarnetta's new song. And then where is it? Where is it? Okay, so
Never rest, songs got the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known?
Man, this is more than wild. This is pseudo judo at its finest. And he's mad at me because of this wild staff not being in iota. So he's going to prove to the pseudo community and he's going to throw out Brother Reggie's name. Now, he doesn't know that Brother Reggie is a, how can I say, I would say upper, I would say a medium metal nature reader, right? Medium. Sometimes lower, sometimes higher, right? But for Inky to do this, right? Babylon Don, Christopher Wizards, Ben Nosut, right? Shabio, this is out of control, and he's gonna go and he's gonna attack Brother Reggie, mild mannered, right? Nice Brother Reggie. He's gonna attack Brother Reggie, and he's gonna say that how could they have known biology in Kemet without without microscopes? One more time. Come on, let's give it to
that biology in Kemet without a microscope. How could they have known that? Well, because they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with the Kemetic cosplay. With the Kemetic cosplay, they don't want to let you know where microscopes came from. And there is no such thing as modern science without a microscope. No such thing as modern science without a microscope.
Okay. Mike Taylor, possibly, but truthfully, no one really knows what the hieroglyphs means except the Egyptian scholars in Egypt. Well, it has been deciphered. For the last 150 years, there has been billions and billions spent on research. There are thousands of papers. There are museums, and I got you, right? I got you. I got you. but you're using the internet, right? Uh, you probably have uh, some high school, maybe some college. Um, I think that the way technology and science works is um, is you may not know the intricacies of everything that goes on, but one thing we do know that this is an attested word. We know that this is an attested word, right? So irit abu, right, with the plurals, right? We know we know that this is a tested word. So it could be abu wheat, right? Irit abu wheat, right? We know that this is a tested word. We know that the rest of the stuff on the statue, we do know the king's names, right? So the Medu Neter hieroglyphics have been deciphered. I got you. You don't want to agree. I got you. That's not your area. I would like you to put on the chat what you are an expert on, right? You may not be an expert on this, but you may be an expert in something, right? So I would like to find that out, right? Um, how can I say I do have a degree in computer science. I passed the test. I worked in the field for 20 years. Um, I do know some aspects of law. I have been a litigant, right? I have worked in a research center, Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture. I have written a journal article. I have written other articles. Um, how can I say I present um, as much as anybody, but very few people come back and say that my information is not factual. You're on my page. This is my page, so I have a right to ask you. And you weren't not polite. You just stated your case, but I do have the right to ask you what are you an expert in. Okay, Mike Taylor. The scholars of Egypt were Muslims, and they don't agree with the European so-called scholars. Uh, Not all the scholars that's living in modern Egypt are Muslims. There are Coptic groups, and then there are other groups. So there are Christian groups, and then there is still indigenous people. So that's not exactly right. My research is based on the Rosetta Stone, which is no Egyptian scholar considers authentic. I disagree. Many You said no Egyptian scholar. No, there are Egyptian scholars uh, that read and write the Medu Neter. You can see them on many channels. Uh, they're often overshadowed by European scholars, but they are the custodians of that land. What else Babylon says? Inky could have used Wiki or Google to see his pseudo. We do accept the black scholars of Egypt. You wrote accept, not accept, right? Mike Taylor, well, I don't have to be an Egyptologist to state their research. Um, well, we have their research, right? If you've ever watched my channel, you can see a great piece on the ointment stela or ointment palette by an Egyptian scholar. Egyptian scholars participate often, but the problem is the European bodies pretty much get in front of their work. Ben said you only know one Egyptian so-called scholar at Mike Taylor. So, and if you don't know Mike Taylor, I'm one of the few, probably the only, that talked to Dr. Zahi Hawass, who is a Egyptologist. I did talk to him on camera live. Peace, Cedric Ortega. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. So here we go, and we debunk Inky's. We debunk Inky's microscope, right? Look at this microscope sperm, forgetting the bullhorn, right? And looking at the sperm and saying there's many of them, and saying that how could we do this without a microscope? And he what does he do? He calls me out. How could they have known biology in Kemet, Reggie? Microscopes, Reggie. So, any more comments before I close this down? Um, I would love to see uh, Lady Egyptian. I need a Lady Egyptian dictionary to find out exactly what that term is. But I know, Cedric, you're laughing. You are laughing yourself out the door, right? Coughing up blood that he tried to do that to the community. Okay, here's Mike Taylor again. The idea that a French invader found a stone that translated the hieroglyphs into Hebrew and Greek, but not Arabic, and Egyptians or an Arab people proved that they are a lie. Well, when they found the stone, I guess you call it a Rosetta Stone, the Arabs weren't around at that time, right? Now we do have glyphs of early Arabia before the Quran on the in Arabia. We do have that to know that they had a spoken language before the Quran, right? Babylon Don says, wait, Cedric says, laugh out loud, flim flam, and Babylon Don says, it's crazy that Jews accept anything from so-called scholars who have shown and proven to be racist and biased towards blackness of Egypt. Yes, we accept them. Well, the populace accepts them. Christopher Wizards just wants to see the text. Smash just wants to see the text. Brother Reggie just wants to see the text. Asan Khan just wants to see the text. Sadiq wants to see the text. Um, who did I miss? So Ka wants to see the text. Jenim Kekare. All we want to see is the text. That's all, right? And so for black people who don't study the field to say that the Egyptians did not call themselves in their personal names Kim, which is black, is silly, right? They don't read the language, so they don't know Pepion Kim. They have no idea what that means. Or Sabi Kim, right? Or any of the other names that we can name off the top of our head, right? To say that Kemet is not related to that there's not a human cattle relationship, right? That there's no mud economy, meaning if the black mud was so damn important, why didn't they cart? Why don't we see carts of it, right? Why don't we see Egyptians loading it into carts and pulling it off and using it? No, if there was no water, the black mud was useless. It was useless. It could just sit out there until the daggone, until the Nile floods. Then it's useful. It's the water mixed with the earth that makes it useful, right? And then, even when it was muddy, the Egyptians hated the mud, right? The mud was dangerous. There's a story Smash shows that uh, that a how can I say, a herder of cattle lost his whole group of cattle in the damn mud, crocodile food, right? They hate the mud. The mud was dangerous. When the mud came, when the mud dried up, then you see frogs, and what comes after the frogs? The snakes. Then you see the mosquitoes, right? Then there's the dying animals, right? Around the so it was not the mud. I mean, anybody with any observation skills can understand that they did not praise the mud. They have no mud god, but they have cattle gods, they have ram gods, right? They have crocodile. Well, I don't want to say gods, but they have netures. Sorry about that. They have principles, right? But they don't have no mud principle. Simple as that. Oh, Cedric, I ain't listening to nothing they say about human beings. Who are you talking about? What I just said? Well, Cedric, we can continue to talk. Let's see what he has to say. The Nile was knit these people's friend. They hated the Nile. The water was a killer. The water was a killer, Cedric? Um, wow, man. They all they do is praise the water. They praise the inundation. There's a hymn to happy. There's a whole hymn to happy. They love the water. They didn't like when the water when the Nile was was untamed, or it was too low or too high and they flooded, but they loved the water. Egypt at this particular time was in a semi approaching desert. They loved the water, right? I, you know, okay, what's going on? Cedric is they made the land fertile, and that was the magic, Reggie. Well, now you're saying, Cedric, that the it was a water it was a water that intersected with the mud. They had no mud economy, Cedric. So they didn't just if the water didn't come, they had no water, right, to make the crops grow. So not you, Reggie. Oh, okay. What's that? Cedric is saying. Knowledge was a sewage. Reggie, they don't drink the water. Okay, so at that time period, they mixed the water in to make a beer. So and they boiled it, so they was that smart. Right now, it's they don't drink it. It's a sewage, right? And they don't drink that water. Uh, they do filtration and what you do, Cedric, what you're an expert in, right? Currently, but at that particular time, the the they drunk milk, of course, uh, and uh, they created a kind of a beer, right? A beer. Okay, Cedric says the flood produced fertility. Um, um, I think the fertility. I think we. Uh, I think for okay. So, uh, wow. Okay. If if the water is not involved, the mud doesn't. Nothing can grow. So, um, so you need the water and you need the earth to be able to plant their crops. Uh, One of the things about this economy in ancient Egypt, um, the funny thing is they make a lot to do with the crops of Egypt, but the fact of the matter is they live more on their animals they than many of yes, barley, wheat, right? Um, but they weren't masters of farming as people thought they were, right? Uh, they used other things to compensate, and you can see that in the offerings. So in the offerings, they have cow heads, they have beer, they have alabaster, but they have birds. Uh, so that's in their offerings. They're not serving up mud to their deceased. Uh, what else? I'm talking to Cedric. Direct observation, Reggie, why they even had the irrigation to get the water inland. That's a fact. They also had wadis, right? They had dikes, they had wadis. I'm not going to disagree with that for the crops that they had, but their their plant diet was very limited, right? Um, they do talk about lettuce, but do they talk about tomatoes? Do they talk about watermelon? Do they, you know, those those things actually came later during the Romans, where the Romans were able to use seeds and other plants and put that in the economy of Egypt. But that was much later, right? But the fact is that the in the offerings to the deceased, you don't see too much vegetation. Mike Taylor says they to learn the truth of the hieroglyphics, you have to be able to speak and read Arabic. The scholars wrote that history in Arabic. The, uh, the the Arabic people, Muslims, they were the ones to stop the speaking of the language, right? The Romans stopped the writing of the language. The Muslims stopped the speaking of the language. The If you look at the history, you will find that that was not something that they were interested in. Now there are loan words uh, from old civilizations in almost every language, but they did not know how to read it or write it. Okay, Babylon Don says, just putting the terms in the chat is not showing anything at all. Now messing with Cedric, the combo is about to be petty. Okay, so I guess Ahmed ibn Yusuf ibn Ibrahim is a leading scholar of hieroglyphics and Egyptian history. Okay, that's fine. And what does that mean? You just Googled it? You have any of his work? He's a leading scholar. I'm not going to disagree. What did he write that you read? I'll wait. Because earlier you was talking about basically it wasn't deciphered. Now you kind of backtrack and saying that there's an Arab scholar, but there's Arab scholars that learn Medu Neter, right? Look, their economy right now is a tourist economy. So there are many Muslim, and that doesn't mean that he's Muslim, but there are many Arab or Egyptian scholars that study the Medu Neter. It's not a problem, but they study it based, if they want to be published, right? They use the same methodology as that came with the decipherment. Okay, Mike Taylor says, Muhammad, yes, I'm familiar with him. Gamal. Okay, so they write it in, they write the words, they communicate in Arabic, but if it's Medu Neter, they write in Medu Neter. So I'm not trying to go back and forth any longer with this. My issue was Inky said, one more time. I gotta listen to Inky.
MCs put their minds to the test. Apostle preach loud, sometime never rest. Songs got the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known that biology and chemistry without a microscope? How could they have known that? Well, because they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with
MCs put their minds to the test. Apostle preach loud, sometime never rest. Songs got the fire, Jabari's finesse.
Now, how could they have known that biology and chemistry without a microscope? How could they have known that? Well, because they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with the comedic cosplay. With the comedic cosplay, they don't want to let you know where microscopes came from. And there is no such thing as modern science without a microscope. No such thing as modern science without a microscope. Here we see right here engraved in the wall where our comedic ancestors actually created and left the blueprint for microscopes and telescopes. What you see on the left of your screen is a modern diagram of what a microscope looks like. What you see in the middle section is an up-close version on what's left in the wall. You see the eye at the top, matches the eye on the side. Then you see what looks like a bread hieroglyph is actually a convex lens. That's very important because that's the thing that image. Then beneath that, you see semen coming out of the phallus of men, the god men, he's semen. And then you see a sperm cell accurately depicted under the convex lens. Now, why that's important is because sperm cell is the smallest cell in the human body. And there is no explanation on God's green earth how it could have got an accurate depiction of a sperm cell in Kemet without a microscope. But not only do they have the accurate depiction of the sperm cell, actually have the accurate depiction of the microscope blueprint. So you have the eye, you have the convex lens, then you have your specimen on top of the tray, and then when you see 3 striped lines under the tray, those 3 striped lines.
Wait, so this is the petri dish? The petri dish? This is a sperm on a petri dish, and it's the mini, and this is the ejaculation, and this is the eye looking into the lens to see the ejaculation of the sperm on the petri dish. And then they come out and said there's many of them. On an Egyptian tomb wall, I think in Luxor, right? And look how he parses it. Here's the eye, here's the microscope. He's parsing, y'all. Christopher, he's parsing. There is the sperm, the ejaculation in the sperm. There is the dish, and there's the conclusion. Wow. Wow. And our people are so behind because of stuff like this. Well, I think that's all I have for you today. You can always buy me some lunch or some breakfast. I appreciate that. I'll stay here for any of the last comments that anybody actually has to say. But wow. So in the beginning, I talked about me interceding in a situation for a better outcome for a woman in distress. I showed how 2 days ago or so, a white officer fired on a black woman, hitting her 6 times, and then finally, because Christopher Wizard stepped into my chat, can't wait to smash Rockwell, tears this apart, right? Can't wait. Then I had great communications with all that came on, Cedric and Babylon Don and Ben Nosut and my brother and Mike Taylor. Thanks for your comments, and I don't agree with them, but thank you for your comments, and thanks Christopher Wizards for stopping by and laughing, saying wow, and certainly Solomon TV, appreciate that, and OG's videos, thank you so much. And let me see who else stopped by. Let's see, there's somebody else that stopped by. Oh yeah, so there was Jose, and Sabio, my brother Sabio. But there you have it. Inky busted. No, the ancient Egyptians did not have microscopes. Did they do eye surgery? Yes, they did eye surgery. Did they have microscopes? No. Any other comments before I check out? Philip Baines, my good brother, what you got to say? Oh man, Philip Baines, you got to watch this show. Ben Nosut, I guess he's talking about Mike. Philip Baines Inky, uh, in the last part of the show, I just had to clown Inky. Inky says that ancient Egyptians saw semen, sperm without a microscope because they had, but he believes that that they had microscopes. So you have to watch the rest of the show. The first part was the first part of the show was me talking about black women in distress and one woman being shot by a white slave catching uh, officer 6 times. And in this last part, it's going to be a big show sooner or later on Smash Rockwell show. So with that said, thank you, Babylon Don. This has been funny, right? My If you want to buy me lunch tomorrow, I mean breakfast tomorrow, I appreciate it. So I want to thank you all for coming, and I'm just more excited to see how Smash Rockwell and Christopher Withers and Sadiq and Asar and many, and even and Babylon Dawn and others uh, tear up Inky on this. Let me see. Are you going to take it down? No, I'm not taking this down. Nope. I'm short of 50 watch hours. So definitely please like the video so it can spread. Um, and maybe I'll just cut this section out because we was just talking about this and put this up separately. Um, but Inky's great fail. Microscopes, semen. Ooh, wow. And the bad thing about it, the worst thing about this thing is that in this text, show this text, he didn't show all of it, so I'll show all of it. Where is it? Let me just put it back up. What happened to the rest of the text? What about a Nosud giving men? What is he? What is he giving? Some potency so he can ejaculate a man and a man, and all of a sudden, for no reason whatsoever, men is going to ejaculate for the purposes of a microscope, right? Uh, for others, there's no woman here, so did Inky look at the whole thing, or he was consumed with the sperm? He spent a lot of time. He spent a lot of time with the penis and the ejaculation and the sperm and the eye watching it under a microscope. I don't I don't see men masturbating. So Inky, 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 Inky. So you mean to tell me that you got this from an erect phallus? You got all of this from erect phallus and didn't even see this? What is he giving him? Dr. Sabi juice? He's giving Dr. Sabi juice to men. So what is this? Sabi juice? What? So you was calling the cops that shot the lady weak? No, 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 no. I did 2 shows. One is I was assisting a woman who was in distress, and the second one was a show about police officers shooting a woman who they pepper sprayed, and she took off, and they boxed her in, and the officer came in and shot her. So no, no, Big Cap, no. I don't think that anybody watched my show uh, heard me intimate that or say that. Okay, I lost my connection. So, what's going on? So you asked what books I've read on the scholar. Okay, so now I'm going to. Okay, thanks, Big Cat. I mean, you just title. But the last part of the show was Inky's great fail of seeing a Norsut in the late kingdom, I think on the wall of Luxor, giving men some potion that caused him to ejaculate so that this eye could look in a microscope lens and take the portion of the semen, put it on a petri dish to see a sperm, and then notice that there were many of them, and then forget about all of the meta nature that was on the text. So I think what I'll do is I will at some time I will cut this out because this is Inky's greatest fail. So I guess Inky was there in Kemet in ancient Egypt, and Inky witnessed this himself. The great Dr. Inky transported into time and watched men ejaculate and watched the Egyptian scholars use a microscope to determine that in late Egypt and put it on a petri dish, which was glass, right, under a microscope, right, under a light under the microscope, and with a particular setting of but we don't see a picture of the microscope here. So I would think that if they had a microscope, they wouldn't just show the lens, they would show the whole microscope. But this is pseudo judo. Oh my goodness. Chuck Morgan showed up. Chuck, you got to see the last half an hour. Smash. Did you see this, Smash? Man, I got Chuck Morgan and Smash. Let me go play this for you. Smash. Stay here. Let me go play. Let me go. Where is it at? Oh, man. I know I didn't take it down. Where's it at? Where's it at? Here you go. Smash. This is worse than the helicopters. This is why we need Smash.
To the test, apostle preach loud, sometime never rest. Songs got the fire,
now, they have known that biology in Kemet without a microscope.
He calls me out. He's calling me out, Smash.
How could they have known that? Well, they had microscopes. See, and this is the problem with the Kemetic cosplay. With the Kemetic cosplay, they don't want to let you know where microscopes came from. And there is no such thing as modern science without a microscope. No such thing as modern science microscope. Here we see right here engraved in the wall where our Kemetic ancestors actually and left the blueprint for microscopes and telescopes. What you see on the left of your screen is a modern diet microscope looks like. What you see in the middle section is an up close version of what's left in the wall. You see the eye at the top, matches the eye on the side. Then you see what looks like a bread hieroglyph is actually a convex lens. That's very important because that's the thing that magnifies the image. Then beneath that, you see semen coming out of the phallus of men, the god men. He's releasing semen. A sperm cell accurately depicted under the convex lens. Now, why that's important is because the sperm cell is the smallest cell in the human body, and there is no explanation on God's earth how they could have got an accurate depiction of a sperm cell in Kemet without a microscope. But not only do they have the accurate depiction of the sperm cell, they actually have the accurate depiction of the microscope blueprint. So you have the convex lens, then you have your specimen on top of the tray, and then when you see those three stripes under the tray, those striped lines mean multiplicity. So what it's showing you is that when you look at the semen under the convex lens, you see a multiplicity of these semen cells or sperm cells. Just in case nobody knows what convex lens looks like. Right? Just in case nobody knows what it looks like, we want to make sure it's good and clear. Right? Now to make sure it's good and clear, we want to show the proof of what the sperm looks like. Because you see that they saw what the smallest cell in the human body look like. That means they know every other cell in the human body look like. If they can see the smallest one, they see every other cell in the human body. Now, for further proof, because I know saw somewhere talking about source it up.
That was in a debate. That was in a debate. Now, what was interesting is Inky in his wildest imagination did not even think to ask in this late Egyptian text, right, or on a wall etching, right, that this is the late Egyptian version of the Wab, and it is on the bull's horn, and then there is this word, and it is plural, and so in his wildest imagination, he parsed this to be an eye, a microscope lens, a sperm from an ejaculation. This is a dish to him, a petri dish, and the outcome is to see plural. And he never, in his wildest imagination, knew that in ancient Egyptian language, that this is a word, ir abu, which is to be pure, to clean, and these plurals are probably most likely possibly a kind of a weak construction um, of the pure ones, or the pure ones, right? And so in the ear part, of course, is to make, to do, maker of things. And so what he forgets to do is he forgets to read the rest of the glibs. And Christopher Withers was saying the given to the rulers time. So I have to look at actually have to look at how he uh, actually how he said, because I was looking at aha, and I thought this was Sep, but this is ruler time, the ruler's time. And so this has nothing to do with and then this is the Nasut Bidi term over here, and this is pet, right? In pet. And so um, he what he didn't do was to in his wildest imagination, he didn't know that that was a language. Very rarely in writing do the ancient Egyptians, while they're writing, do they just draw things that are not language. In his so let me find what Christopher Wizards says. Um, So Smash, do a show, have Christopher Wizards here on it, and some of your other meta nature. And this is bigger than the helicopter, huh? This is bigger than the helicopter. I think of Abydos, the planes. Let's see. Let's see if I can find Christopher Wizards. Or Christopher Wizards, if you're still there while Smash is there, put in the part that you translated. But there you go. Yep, and Chuck Morgan is here. So we have Asar Imhotep messing up the cuneiform and Sumerian and Akkadian text, right, with pseudo judo. And I know you wish you had more of that type of stuff so that you could comment on, right, than just the SAR. But in our area, we have Inky now talking about microscopes and convex lenses and petri discs uh, and sperm, and here you have the king offering what to men so he can ejaculate for no reason at all. Dr. Sabi juice. What's here? What's this concoction right here? Right, giving it to men so he can ejaculate, so that this can be a microscope. I mean, a single eye looking into a microscope, a single eye looking into a lens to see sperm on a petri dish. Where do we? I mean, this is sexualizing something that's not even sexual, right? Where do we get this in our community? So and so we have Meta Nature scholars, and some of the best are on this board right now, and they know that this is late Egyptian, and they could read it. I just started doing a part of it just to let everybody know this whole construction right here is an actual word, late Egyptian wab over the horn, which is abu, ear abu, right? But in this particular case, there is a an added prefix construction of it, right? And then normally I would say this is this is I would want to say that this is pati, but which is the vizier, but I have to do some more research to see other alternatives of this pa right here, this pa in its plural, which I have not found, but we have other constructions over here where I think there's a netter here. Can't see really clearly, but we have the south, a place in the south, and we have the new bowl. And what else do we have over here? We have the king's name. He's the Sarah. He's the Neb Kaul, Lord of Crowns, the king's name. Then we have Amen over here. And then we have some type of offering, um, his offerings. Nothing in this is about sexual. Nothing is this about a laboratory. Nothing is about a microscope. Nothing at all about this particular piece. But to our audience, black pseudo professionals doing pseudo judo live can enter this into a debate and have our people eating popcorn and saying, wow. So that's where we are today. I'm going to turn it over to Smash and Christopher Wizards and Sadiq and so many of our Soren Carr and so many of our uh, uh, Jetamonk, Hekare, and so many of our people that come on Smash's show to really blow this up, right? This is a career ender, y'all. That is a career ender. Microscope, right? In ancient Egypt, examining sperm for no reason whatsoever. So, with that said, you can buy me lunch tomorrow. Look out for this. Hopefully, it's going to come up on Smash's show. So, stay tuned to Smash Rockwell's show because this is the biggest fail in late 2025 on messing with African language, meaning he's spitting on African language. He knows better. He knows better than all the people who took the time, years and years, to study the Meta Nature. Inky, Dr. Inky, he knows better. What's Ben Nosud? Ben Nosud's arguing with somebody? Yep, he's arguing with Mike Taylor. So, but this is the biggest fail in late 2025. And what he did was he went to Facebook, he Googled, he found this on Facebook, and this is what the white pseudo judos were talking about. And so he brings that into our community. That's what he does. So I don't have anything else to say. I hope you enjoyed your show. Look forward to Smash taking some time out of his studies to bring this up, right? Why did they find scrolls of the Holy Quran in Ramses' tomb? They found scrolls of the Holy Quran in Ramses' tomb? Okay. Okay. Make up here with Muslim Babel. Okay. So, no, they didn't find the Quran because the Quran wasn't written at the time of Ramses. And which Ramses? which Ramses? Which Ramses are you talking about? Right? Ramsey 1, Ramsey 12, which Ramses? Well, Christopher, that means listen, your job is not over. Never get tired, right? because when you are not watching, right, and you're doing something else, this will be coming up. And if it's not for you guys that do this work, our community will be victims of the super pseudo judo. So I don't have anything else to say. So I'm going to say good night. Thank you all for watching. And I so appreciate you all. Buy Brother Reggie some lunch. And where's my music at? Yeah, I'm trying to put my music on. Yeah, I think it's going to come on. Yeah. So hope you had a good time with your brother tonight. Oh, I did want to say Montego Bay is kind of like underwater right now, and special uh, thinking, right, to those in Jamaica who are fighting for their lives because of the hurricane being on top of their world right now. And so our thoughts should be with Black people that are in fact suffering. And thank you. While we should be thinking about technology and strategies, some of our people want to think about wow moments of microscopes and intuition. While we definitely need technology, and unfortunately, technology is costing us over 10 million jobs AI, right? We should be coming up with strategy solutions. But we want to teach our people on wow moments in the debate. For clicks and giggles, to make ourselves feel smart. Technology is education, STEM. We need better housing, better structures. The aftermath of this is always the investors come in, take the land, because we're not prepared, man. We're not prepared for fires, for floods, for hurricanes, tornadoes. We watch YouTube too much.
instead of trying to solve problems. Rockwell show talks about AI. And hardly ever talk about maybe people are starving in Haiti. Starving. Trying to survive. We need better resources, technology, problem solving. Well, family. Okay, family, I want to say good night. Thanks for joining. Anything else came in the chat? Well, Mike, bro, how are you doing, my sister? Good to see you on. Watch the replay of the show. And thank you, sister. Part of the show was me talking about sister. Babylon Don, thank you so much.